Now in this class we are going to take up the compressive stress and the compressive strain. So what is compressive stress? When a body or a section is subjected to two equal and opposite pushes. So that means when a body or section is subjected to two equal and opposite pushes, that means it is moving in this direction, and that is two forces which is towards each other, and it tends to pushes the particles on of the material nearer, causing the shortening of the member. So that means when a member is subjected to the compressive load, so these two are the compressive load P, and this member is considered the section at excess. We have the member 1, so we have this as the member 1 and this as the member 2. So because of this compressive load, the body will go to tends to compress, that means it will going to reduce or shortening in length, it will going to take the shortening in length. Now here this is a figure wherein it shows a member which is subjected to a compressive load P, capital P on either directions, both are towards each other. Now when you consider the section at this point, so here we will going to have the two members. The one member is in this direction, which is the member 1, wherein you have the load which is applied in this direction, which is P. Similarly, we have another body which is 2, or the member wherein the compressive load is applied in this direction, capital P. So this is the member 2. Now these two bodies are not in equilibrium condition, but this body is in equilibrium condition because the two equal and opposite forces are acting each other, so that these two will be in equilibrium condition. But when the load is applied, when we consider the section at this point or on this plane, so that you have the member 1 and we have the member 2, where the load is applied in this direction. So because due to the load which is operating in this direction, which is towards the member, so the body will tend to move in this direction. So in order to keep the body in equilibrium condition, so you are going to have the resisting force again, so that resisting force will going to be acting in this direction. So here this will going to be the resisting force. So this is the resisting force. So what will going to be the amount of the resisting force which is going to be acting on the body, so that the resisting body will going to have an equilibrium condition. To have the magnitude, because since it has to be in the equilibrium condition, then the magnitude of this resisting force should also be equal to P. So that means we will going to consider this as P dash. Suppose if I consider an example, suppose if I am applying a 100 Newton as the force which is applied in this direction. So in order to keep the body in equilibrium condition, the resisting force of this P dash will also be equal to 100 Newton. Then only the body will be in equilibrium condition. So now once the resisting force is acting in such that these two will going to be on the opposite directions to each other. So this is both will going to be acting towards each other. So naturally these two will be in equilibrium condition. Since this is the compressive load, so the resisting force will also be in compression. Now similarly, we are considering the second body now. The second body, which is the load which is acting in this direction, that is from right towards that direction. So the body will be moving in this direction because due to the load, the compressive load which is applied on the member 2. So in order to keep this body in equilibrium condition, so we have to have the resisting force which will be acting in this direction, which will be towards the member, wherein the resisting force is going to be P dash. So this will going to be the resisting force, which will be P dash. So this is also the magnitude P dash. The magnitude of this P dash will be equal to the So that means if the load which is applied here is 100 Newton, therefore the resisting force will also be equal to 100 Newton, then only body will be in equilibrium condition. So now we will going to consider both the cases together. So now when we assemble these two members together, so we have a member wherein you have the load, the compressive load P which is acting on this. Similarly, you have a compressive load which is acting on this member on this side. So when the member is subject to the section, so that means when you cut the member at this point, you are going to have the section XX. So because due to this member, the load which is P, so we will going to have the resisting force which is acting in this direction, wherein you will going to have the resisting force P dash here. And similarly, so because due to this member, that is the member 2, wherein the load which is applied, the compressive load is applied in this direction to keep this body, the member 2, body 2 in equilibrium condition. So we are going to have this force which is acting in this direction, where the magnitude will be equal to P dash. Now, so this is how we are going to keep the body in equilibrium condition. So let P will be the applied compressive load. So P will be equal to the applied compressive load, and P dash is the resisting force. P dash is the resisting force. Then A will be the cross-sectional area of the member or the bar, cross-sectional area of the bar. Therefore, the compressive stress, that is sigma C, which is the compressive stress sigma C, will be equal to the resisting force divided by the cross-sectional area, that is again will be equal to applied compressive load divided by the cross-sectional area. So in the sense that, so that means we have the resisting force which is the resisting force which is P dash here. P dash by the cross-sectional area is A, and the applied compressive load will going to be the capital P, that is P by A, which is the cross-sectional area of the member. So because P dash will be equal to P, this is because the body has to be in equilibrium condition. Therefore, compressive stress sigma C will be equal to compressive stress sigma C will be equal to P by A, capital P by A, which will be the compressive stress. Now we are going to take up one more topic, which will going to be on the compressive strain, because we have stresses and strain. So we are going to consider the compressive strain now. So it is exactly the same, very similar to the case of the tensile strain, wherein we are going to have the extension, but here it will be under compression. So the compressive strain, which is epsilon C, again it will be equal to the delta L by L. We will going to see how this will going to be the delta L by L. Now we will going to consider a member wherein you have the body which is A and B. The member is applied with a compressive load which is capital P, and this is capital P. Then when we apply the member here, so it will going to be compressed by the amount of delta L. So this will going to be delta L, and this will going to be the overall length of the member, which is L. So this will going to be the load force P, which is applied after the compression. You will going to get this at this point, which will going to be delta L. So here, if you consider this, Let AB is the original length of the member. Let AB will be equal to original length of the member. Length of the member. And AC is the final length of the member. AC will be the final length of bar after the application of compressive load. After the application of compressive load. After the application of compressive load. So then we have, so because due to the compressive load, we are going to have the member will be of shortening in length. So what will going to be the shortening length of the bar? The shortening length of the bar, shortening length of bar will be, in this case, will be equal to the original length minus the final length. So that means the original length minus final length by the original length. So here, if you consider this, so what is the original length of the member? The original length of the member will be equal to capital AB minus final length of the member. When once it is the compressive load is applied, the member will going to be reduced to this length. So here this will go to be the point AC. So this member will be AC. This is the final length. So which will be capital P, and this is going to be capital P. So now this will be the final length is going to be AC. Then the original length will be AB. So what will going to be the original length of the member? Original length of the member will be equal to L. So that means this length will be equal to L, and the final length of the after the application of load. So L minus delta L. So this will be L minus delta L. So if you consider this, so AC will be equal to minus of L minus delta L and close bracket, and here original length of the member will be L. So that will be equal to, so we have L minus L plus delta L once you open the bracket. So here L minus into minus becomes plus, and then it is going to be delta L. So this will be minus L and plus L will get cancelled. Therefore, shortening of the bar which will be equal to epsilon compressive strain epsilon C will be equal to delta L by L, and epsilon T will also be equal to delta L by L, wherein you are going to have the increase in length by the original length in case of the tensile strain. In case of compressive strain, you will going to get as compressive, that is shortening in length by the original length of the member. Since it is the ratio is delta L is mm and also the length of the member is mm, so these two get cancelled. Therefore, you are not going to have any